Listen to me. Life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. Storms are coming. Problems are coming. People are gonna test you. But the question is, are you calm enough to handle it? You gotta understand, your power doesn't come from panicking. Your power comes from control, from discipline, from training your mind to stay calm when everybody else is losing it. Because if you lose your peace, you lose your power. And I'm telling you right now, if you can master your mind, you can master your life. Calmness is not something that just happens when life gets easy. Calmness is not something that magically shows up when everything is going your way. Calmness is a decision, a choice that you have to make in the middle of the storm. Too many people believe that they will be calm when their problems disappear, when their bills are paid, when their relationships are perfect, when the pressure is gone. But that's not reality. Life will never give you perfect conditions. Pressure is always going to be there. Storms are always going to come. Challenges are always going to rise up against you. The real test is whether you can look chaos in the face and still choose peace. Calmness is not automatic. It is intentional. Every day you wake up, you have the power to decide how you will respond. You don't get to control what people say about you. You don't get to control traffic. You don't get to control delays, disappointments, or setbacks. But you do get to control your mind. You do get to control how you respond to it. The average person reacts instantly with anger, with frustration, with fear. They let emotions dictate every move. But the strong, the disciplined, the ones who train their minds, they pause, they breathe, they make a conscious choice to remain calm. That choice separates leaders from followers, the strong from the weak, the winners from the quitters. Think about it. Every time you react without thinking, every time you let anger or fear take over, you give your power away. You're letting the situation control you instead of you controlling the situation. Calmness is the ability to step back for just a moment and say, I will not be controlled by this emotion. I will not let this situation define me. I choose calm. It doesn't mean you don't feel the heat. It doesn't mean you don't feel the frustration. It means you don't surrender to it. You don't allow that emotion to run your life. This is why calmness has to be trained. You don't wake up one day with it. You build it the same way you build muscle, through consistent practice. You put yourself in stressful situations, and instead of reacting, you train yourself to pause. When the driver cuts you off, you breathe. When your coworker disrespects you, you don't let anger take over. You respond with control. When your plans fall apart, you remind yourself, calmness is my choice. Every time you do this, you are wiring your brain, programming your mind to respond differently. You are building resilience. You are building emotional strength. Calmness is not weakness. It is power under control. It is the ability to stay grounded when everything around you is shaking. It is the mindset of a warrior who knows that emotions will come, but discipline will decide. And the more you practice choosing calmness, the more natural it becomes, until eventually, no matter what life throws at you, your first instinct is not panic, not fear, not anger, but peace. Emotions are powerful, and if you don't learn how to master them, they will run your life. Every decision you make, every action you take is influenced by your emotions in some way. Anger can push you to say things you regret. Fear can paralyze you from taking action. Excitement can make you rush into something without thinking. Sadness can keep you stuck when you should be moving forward. Most people live as slaves to their emotions without even realizing it. They wake up and let their feelings dictate the day. If they feel motivated, they work hard. If they feel tired, they quit. If they feel upset, they shut down. That's not mastery, that's weakness. Mastery means you are in control. It means you acknowledge the emotion, but you don't bow down to it. To master your emotions, you first have to understand them. You can't fight what you don't recognize. Every time you feel a strong emotion, pause and identify it. Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it doubt? Once you name it, you take the first step toward controlling it. Emotions thrive in silence. They grow stronger when you ignore them or pretend they're not there. But when you call them out, when you shine a light on them, they lose their grip. That's why awareness is the first tool of mastery. The second step is discipline. Emotions demand an instant reaction. Anger says, yell right now. Fear says, run right now. Impulse says, boy it right now. But discipline says, wait. Discipline says, think first. Discipline says, don't give temporary emotions permanent authority over your life. Mastering your emotions is about creating that gap between what you feel and what you do. It's about training yourself to pause before you respond. That pause is where power lies. That pause is where clarity shows up. Without that pause, emotions control everything. With that pause, you control everything. Understand this: emotions are not your enemy. They are signals. They're information. Anger telling you something feels unjust. Fear is telling you something feels dangerous. Sadness is telling you something feels lost. But just because they speak doesn't mean they get to lead. When you master your emotions, you use them as tools. You listen, you learn, but you don't hand over the steering wheel. Emotions can guide, but they should never drive. Think about the great leaders, the high performers, the champions. They feel everything you feel. They feel fear, but they don't let fear stop them. They feel anger, but they don't let anger control their actions. They feel pressure, but they don't let pressure break them. The difference is mastery. The difference is that they decide how to use their emotions, while most people let emotions use them. When you are in control, your emotions become fuel. Fear becomes focus. Anger becomes energy. Doubt becomes drive. Instead of tearing you down, they build you up because you control where they go and how they're used. Pressure will expose you. And the truth is, it doesn't matter how confident you act. In the moment, if you haven't prepared, pressure will break you. Preparation is what gives you control when everything is on the line. When the lights are bright, when the crowd is watching, when the deadline is close, when your back is against the wall, it's not talent that saves you, it's preparation. People who panic under pressure usually panic because deep down they know they didn't put the work in. They didn't study enough. They didn't practice enough. They didn't train enough. That lack of preparation eats away at their confidence. But the ones who prepare, the ones who rehearse, the ones who grind in silence, they walk into pressure with a calm mind because they've already been there 1,000 times in their preparation. Preparation builds trust in yourself. When you've gone over the plan, when you've practiced the speech, when you've studied the material, when you've trained your body, you don't have to wonder if you can handle the moment. You know you can. That knowing is what brings control. You don't need to hype yourself up. You don't need to fake confidence because your preparation speaks louder than your nerves. The mind becomes calm when it knows it is ready. Think about athletes. The reason the best players can perform under championship pressure is not because they're superhuman, it's because they've trained for it over and over. They've shot the free throw in practice 10,000 times. They've run the drills until their body reacts without thinking. By the time the game is on the line, their preparation takes over. The pressure is the same for everyone, but the one who prepared can control their mind and execute. The one who didn't prepare lets fear and doubt take over. The same principle applies everywhere. If you're giving a presentation at work, preparation is what allows you to speak clearly instead of stumbling. If you're running a business, preparation is what keeps you calm when the market shifts. If you're facing a personal challenge, preparation is what helps you manage your emotions instead of breaking down. Preparation is more than practice, it's mental conditioning. Every time you prepare, you are teaching your brain that it can handle pressure. You're building a track record of success in private that your mind can lean on in public. Pressure is not going away. Life will always test you. But when you've done the work, when you've studied, when you've practiced, when you've conditioned yourself, pressure doesn't rattle you. Your preparation gives you structure. It gives you confidence. It gives you calmness in the storm. While everyone else is reacting, you are controlling because you've been here before. You don't fear the pressure, you embrace it because preparation has already trained your mind to stay steady. When your mind is calm, you see things for what they really are. Decisions made in chaos are almost always the wrong ones because chaos clouds judgment. When fear, anger, or stress take over, your brain goes into survival mode, and survival mode is not about clarity, it's about reacting. You can't think long term when you're trapped in short-term emotions. That's why people say things they regret in anger. That's why people quit too soon in frustration. That's why people miss opportunities because of fear. The mind that is shaken cannot make sound decisions, but the mind that is calm, steady, and focused can cut through the noise and see the truth. A calm mind works like clear water. When the water is stirred up, you can't see anything at the bottom. But when the water settles, everything becomes visible. The same is true for your mind. Stress and panic stir up the water, making everything blurry. Calmness lets the water settle so you can see your options clearly. That's when you make decisions that move you forward instead of decisions that set you back. Clarity under pressure is not an accident, it's a skill. It comes from discipline, from refusing to let your emotions hijack your thinking. A calm mind says, yes, I feel the pressure. Yes, I feel the fear, but I will not let those emotions dictate my choice. It's about stepping back, breathing, and giving yourself the space to think. In that space, you can weigh the facts, consider the consequences, and choose wisely. Without that space, you act on impulse, and impulse usually leads to regret. Great leaders are remembered for their calm in the most intense situations. When everyone else is panicking, they are steady. When everyone else is running in different directions, they are centered. That calmness doesn't mean they don't feel stress. It means they control it. Their ability to make clear decisions comes from their ability to quiet the noise inside their own mind. The calm leader inspires trust because people know they won't make reckless choices. They won't let fear make the decision for them. In your own life, every major decision benefits from calmness, whether it's in relationships, business, health, or personal growth. Rushing out of emotion almost always backfires. When you're angry, wait. When you're scared, pause. When you're overwhelmed, step back. That pause is where calmness enters, and with calmness comes clarity. And with clarity comes the ability to choose the path that actually serves your future instead of sabotaging it. A calm mind doesn't ignore emotion, it manages it. It recognizes the feeling, but refuses to let it take the wheel. It slows down the rush of reaction and gives you control over the outcome. That is why calm minds make the clearest, strongest, and most effective decisions. Chaos is inevitable. Life will throw situations at you that are messy, unpredictable, and overwhelming. The people around you will panic. The environment will pressure you, and your emotions will rise up. In the middle of all that noise, discipline becomes the anchor. Discipline is not about control when everything is easy. It's about control when nothing is. When the world feels like it's spinning out of control, discipline is what keeps you grounded, steady, and strong. Without it, chaos consumes you. With it, chaos becomes the very place where your strength is forged. Discipline in chaos means sticking to your principles no matter what's happening around you. It means showing up for your responsibilities when everything in you wants to quit. It means holding on to your standards even when the pressure is telling you to compromise. Anyone can be disciplined when life is smooth, but true discipline shows up when life is storming. That's where your character is tested. That's where the weak fall apart and the strong rise. Think about a soldier in the middle of battle. The noise, the fear, the danger. It's chaos everywhere. If the soldier lets that chaos control him, he freezes, he panics, he makes mistakes. But the disciplined soldier has trained for this. He follows the plan. He executes the mission. He stays focused on what he can control. His discipline allows him to operate under conditions that would break most people. That's what unshakable strength looks like, not the absence of fear or chaos, but the ability to remain consistent inside it. The same applies to your everyday life. Chaos will show up in the form of financial problems, broken relationships, unexpected setbacks, or personal struggles. In those moments, discipline is the habit of sticking to your routine, following your process, keeping your promises to yourself. If you quit your discipline every time life gets hard, you will never build strength. But if you hold to your discipline when it's hardest to do so, you will come out of the storm stronger than ever. Discipline in chaos also creates trust in yourself. When you know you can stay committed under the hardest circumstances, your confidence grows. You don't question whether you'll make it. You already know because you've proven to yourself that you won't fold under pressure. This kind of confidence doesn't come from motivation or hype. It comes from discipline. Every time you keep going when chaos tells you to stop, you're adding another brick to your foundation. And over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. Strength that is built in comfort is fragile, but strength that is built in chaos cannot be broken. Discipline is the tool that transforms chaos into training ground. It teaches you to control what you can, to focus on what matters, and to stand tall when everything else is falling apart. That's how discipline in chaos creates a strength that nothing can move. Inner peace is not weakness. It is not passivity, and it is not about ignoring the challenges of life. Inner peace is strength under control. It is the kind of power that cannot be shaken by external circumstances because it comes from within. Most people spend their lives chasing control on the outside. They want the job to go perfectly. They want people to treat them, right? They want every plan to unfold exactly the way they imagine. But the truth is, the outside world will never fully cooperate with you. Things will go wrong. People will disappoint you. Life will surprise you. If your peace depends on everything outside being perfect, you will never have peace. True power is when your calm is rooted inside you, untouchable by what happens around you. Inner peace allows you to handle storms without being consumed by them. It's the ability to stand in the middle of stress, chaos, or conflict and remain steady. When you are at peace inside, the noise outside doesn't have the same hold on you. The criticism doesn't cut as deep. The setbacks don't crush you. The pressure doesn't overwhelm you. You still feel it, but you are not ruled by it. That calmness gives you power over situations that would normally control you. It turns problems into puzzles instead of threats. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of mastery. It is knowing yourself so deeply that you are not easily moved by opinions, fears, or doubts. It is the strength to respond instead of react. When your mind is at peace, you don't waste energy fighting unnecessary battles. You don't burn out chasing validation. You don't crumble under criticism. That frees up your focus, your creativity, and your energy for what really matters. Think about how much power is lost when people are not at peace. They snap in anger. They act out of insecurity. They make reckless choices because of fear. They waste years chasing approval, battling enemies that don't matter, proving themselves to people who were never going to believe in them anyway. Without inner peace, every little thing pulls you off course. But with inner peace, you become unshakable. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to fight every fight. You move with clarity, not chaos. The most powerful people are not the loudest or the most aggressive. They are the ones who carry calm authority. They don't need to yell to be heard. They don't need to dominate to feel strong. Their presence speaks because their peace is unbreakable. That kind of power can't be bought, can't be faked, and can't be taken away. It comes only from doing the inner work, from mastering yourself, from choosing calm over chaos day after day until peace becomes your natural state. That inner peace is the ultimate power because it makes you untouchable by the things that control most people.